Thank you for tuning into English Christian Times.
Same police officers, who were involved in Tuticorin custodial deaths, said to be responsible for human rights violations against Christians earlier this year. By not registering FIR and transferring investigations to the CBI, we can infer that the CM doesn't disagree with the conduct of the guilty cops. In shocking developments that have now come to light, some of the police officers in the Tuticorin custodial death cases are believed to have also been involved in religious persecution and human rights violations earlier this year. The whole country's conscience was shocked when Jairaj and his son Benix were allegedly brutally tortured, in police custody, and died from injuries sustained on account of the brutality, and incidentally, the two were Christians. Today, as news comes, in that some of the same officers, who are believed to be responsible for the deaths of Jairaj and Benix, were also involved in brutally assaulting a Christian pastor, and 8 of his members, and detaining them illegally in police custody in February. One wonders if the deaths of Jairaj and Benix was religious persecution perpetrated by men in khaki. These very police officers, Raghu Ganesh, and Balakrishnan, and head constable Murugan, responsible for the custodial deaths of the father and son, were involved in the beating up of the pastor, along with 8 members of his church, who were illegally detained in the police lock-up for their faith. These particular police officers of Sathankalam police station physically tortured them, by beating them, with batons all over their bodies, including their private parts, and even ridiculed them for their faith in Christ, and mocked them, by asking them, due to the severe injuries caused by the brutal blows of the baton, especially the back and spinal area. Pastor Lazar and Mr. Nalathambi had to be admitted at the Tirunelveli Medical College for 4 days to undergo treatment. Another physically handicapped member of the church by the name of Ayudurai was also severely beaten on the legs, spinal area and his genital parts, and he had to be admitted in the Rameshwaram Government Hospital for treatment. After their release from their illegal incarceration, this group of Christians had filed a complaint to both the State Minorities Commission of Tamil Nadu and the State Human Rights Commission, but due to the lockdown their petition haven't yet been responded to. This raises serious questions as to whether religious freedom exists in the state of Tamil Nadu, and if the state government is trying to bury the incident as a one-off incident instead of a series of persecutions against the Christian community. The case of George Floyd resulted in Indians demanding for action. George Floyd's death shook the conscience of the world as we all could see the video of that brutal act. If one was shown the Tuticorin father and son double murder on video with their knees being smashed and bamboo batons brutally pushed into their rectum, anyone will agree that Floyd's murder is no comparison to this barbaric and savage act. When police brutality resulted in the death of George Floyd in the United States, the people came onto the streets to protest, which resulted in the machinery taking action against those allegedly involved. Do we also need a George Floyd kind of demonstrations to awaken the conscience of the authorities that things are seriously wrong and getting out of control? The Christian community today condemns this systemic attack on its members by the police in Tamil Nadu, as it has now been revealed in Sathankalam, which when translated in English means Devil's Pond, and the action of the police proved to be no less. Reported by Dr. Abraham Matai.